Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I actually live in Canada, where everything is quite a long ways away. I live in the northern region of Canada, and I drive about 7,000 to 8,000 kilometers per month. And I was wondering, should I be looking at maybe leasing an electric vehicle or keeping my current gas SUV?
Okay. Is there anything you want to add to that? You seem like you're going to say something else.
I was just going to say, because the amount I spend in gas each month is roughly $200 less than an electric car lease with the extra kilometers for 80,000 per year. So that's why I thought, I'm usually very against leasing, but I thought, I don't know, is this the one time that there's an exception here? I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I think it sounds like there's two issues here. One is the affordability of your gas, and if you want to lower your gas bill. And the other issue is if you choose to change vehicles, can you afford it, and do you have the cash to buy the vehicle? So let's look at it kind of separately for that purpose. First off, for your gas SUV, what are you spending now? How many dollars are you spending a month to fill it up and do all that?
About $1,280. So that's the average in the past 3 months I looked at.
Okay, and you're saying that with an electric vehicle, you could lower that by $200?
No, so the electric vehicle with because leases usually only go to 24,000 kilometers here in Canada. So buying the extra kilometers, which is 8 cents a kilometer, totals me about $1,400-ish per month for leasing on a 2-year lease. And the reason is because I'm assuming there's no residual value left in the electric car, or if there is, it'd be small. So the warranty is for 160,000 kilometers. And I thought, well, I'll probably reach that within 2 years. So, leasing it over 2 years, then here's the keys, and I don't have to deal with the speculation on how consumers are going to perceive the value of the electric car once it's gone.
Here's the thing. I'm never going to advise you to lease a vehicle, and I'm never going to advise you to go into a car note for a vehicle. For the lease, I'm not going to suggest that because it truly is the most expensive way that you could possibly operate a vehicle. Even though you're like, hey, it's electric, there's, rebates that I'm going to get, all that. When you do the math on how the payment is, how they come to the conclusion of the payment, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, this is the most, and I can go over that in a minute. What I would do if I were you, it kind of feels like you're going from one extreme to another. You've got the electric vehicle on this end, but then you've got a gas SUV on this end. What if you had a gasoline car that wasn't guzzling as much gas? What if you did that? So I would kind of advise you to look at your options, but at the end of the day, what's really going to inform this is how much money you have. Do you have money to spend on a new vehicle? And that's really where my mind is.
So I own my current vehicle, and yes, I do. I actually teach corporate finance of all things. But I have enough to, if I was to go into a dealership and comfortably buy a vehicle, I was going to buy a lot instead. But, if I have to buy a car with it, that's no issue. But honestly, my current vehicle is fine. It has a lot of life left to it.
Okay.
It's just more of, the fact that, there's a depreciation expense, right? And there's a gas expense.
And by the way, when you lease a car, the depreciation is built into the price of the lease. Like that's
correct,
built in. So you're not avoiding that.
No, what I am saying is, if I could buy the electric car in cash, except the car salesman said once they're out of warranty, they're really only worth, maybe, 15 or 20,000, in residual value. And he gave an example because he had one that he recently had to buy, and he said it's because consumers don't realize you can, maybe replace the battery, but, still it's kind of early. And to your point, we are seeing, we're getting more and more people calling in saying, I bought an electric vehicle. It's now barely a year later and the value has gone down substantially. So there are issues there. I'm not necessarily saying that I'm in favor of you having an electric vehicle. You're just saying, hey, this is what I want. What I'm simply saying is if you decide to do that, I would buy it outright and I would buy it used. I would not lease it. So that would be my advice to you. You're grown, so you'll probably go away from here and you'll do what you choose to do. But that would be my advice. Okay, and I'm going to stick with my gas car then. The only incentive I thought was the lease payment was cheaper than the gas, but you know what? The way that you
But I don't understand. I don't understand why not even maybe try to come to the States and get a used electric car.
That's what I'm thinking.
Would they be under warranty though, right? And how long do those electric car batteries last in lifetime?
You're asking the wrong cat, because I don't want an electric car ever. I'm a classic car guy. In fact, the older the car, the better for me. So I'm just being honest. I don't know. I'm asking you. So you came at us with a lease.
Last till about 200,000 kilometers, and then they have you have to pay 20,000 for a new battery to be installed. Right?
Yeah, and Andrew.
Okay, good. So in my asking that, you've given yourself an answer as to why it's not a good play for electric cars in general.
And there's another part of this with the amount that you're driving. And I don't know. I don't have an electric vehicle. I only talk to the only person I know who has one, which is George. And the few calls that come in here about them is the charging. Like, there's more to the charging than meets the eye. There's the time.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do the quick charge, that costs more.
Do you know how much
and
a
then
battery
you gotta make
costs for my gas car? Why would you buy something? Here's what and I'm not even, Andrew, I don't even know why anyone would buy an electric car based on what you just told me. Because it's like, once the battery goes...
That's that. And you have to know where you can charge it. You're driving long distances. Can it make that distance? Like, how many trips can you make per charge? That's the way my brain is thinking. That feels like a headache to me. So, as they say on Shark Tank, for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, I love that.
And that means I'm out too. So I was leaning towards keeping the car, but the math was going the one way. I'm like, this can't be true.
Yeah.
Let's call the Dave Ramsey show. But I'm glad you guys agree.
Yeah.
As a society, we really don't know enough about these cars to make a...
Is your car, are you using your car for your own business, or do you work for someone else and it requires you to do all this driving?
My own business.
So you do you write off all those expenses, or at least every expense that you can. On the car. So that's at least a positive, there's some breaks there about running that through your business, but I mean, that's what it is, man. And that's the nature of what you're doing. So you got to build into that. My retained earnings on a business like that would be like car replacement
100%.
fund.
100%.
I'd have a line item on that.
Yeah.
Are you doing that, Andrew?
No, I usually include travel in with my consulting practice that I have. I usually include travel in the price that I give for the engagement, but
that's
maybe
cool.
charging
disbursements,
which is great.
A better idea.
Well, no, it's great. But what I'm saying is I would, Jade, you're with me. If you're going to do that, I would put all that money into a car replacement fund.
Yeah.
It is a huge part of your business, my friend.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be putting... Well, let's just run this through. We got about a minute and a half. I'm going to give it to the budget guru. So how much money do you pay yourself?
Me right now?
Yeah.
$150,000 a year.
Okay, great. And do you have some margin? I'm guessing you have some margin in the business after you pay yourself?
I usually keep very little profit in the business to minimize corporate taxes.
Right, but how much money could you put away, real quick, how much money could you put away a month in your business for a car replacement after paying yourself and all expenses?
About $1,500 probably.
Yeah, do that. That's great. I'm doing that today.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, you've got some margin there. Start putting a car replacement fund in your corporate bank account, and boy, that's going to be great.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.